Bubba Wallace is the first Cup driver suspended for an on-track incident since Matt Kenseth in 2015. Freddie.
How did I know that was coming?
We got suspended? What?
Apparently.
Listen, obviously I tweeted unprecedented when this happened, and people
Be careful what you tweet.
people got upset at me. Well,
Or
it's
post
really,
to Instagram.
Oh, you can't.
Yeah.
it's really not my fault that people don't know what the word unprecedented means.
You're right.
Listen, in my opinion, it is unprecedented. Nobody has been suspended for what Bubba did. If your closest comparison is Matt Kenseth, who was riding around half throttle, 15 laps down, waiting on the leader to wreck him, I don't think that's the same as hooking a guy in the right rear. We've seen multiple examples of guys hooking people in the right rear that were not suspended. So that's why I tweeted unprecedented. Did I disagree with the suspension? No. I didn't think so. You know, we talked about on here. I thought maybe a heavy fine and points were coming because I said on here that I thought it was going to be unprecedented if they suspended him. But you have to draw the line somewhere,
right.
and I'm fine with that as long as when we go forward, the next time this happens, it better be the same penalty now because you have drawn the line in the sand that wrecking somebody intentionally is unacceptable, and we're going to come down hard on you. So as long as that continues on in the future, I'm good with it.
We talked about this obviously a lot last week on Race Hub. We had a lot of different drivers coming in like we normally do as analysts weighing in on this. And I thought one of the interesting things they were saying is like this punishment is the worst case scenario for a driver, right? Watching somebody else in your car, watching somebody else racing in your place. And it's like torture for them as a driver to not be there. So they were saying, you know, fines and paying money is one thing, but not getting to race is the worst punishment they can have. So in that case, I guess they got it, quote unquote, right.
Do you agree with it?
I do. I mean, they had to do something. I think they are setting a very clear message to everyone in the garage area that this is sort of going to be the outcome if this happens again in the future. You know, I think it's all around. It's kind of a convoluted situation.
Do you think, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Oh,
Do
boy.
you think that they suspended him because he intentionally wrecked him, or do you think they suspended him because of the uncertainty about the safety of this car and given how many concussions there are right now with guys out?
I don't know. I think that's a good question. I think there are a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of layers to this particular situation. The safety is a very big concern right now for everybody, whether you're NASCAR, whether you're drivers, whether you're media. So I just think it was sort of worst storm possible. You know what I mean? I think.
Brett, what do you think?
I'm spot on for suspending him because, honest to God, I think Denny may have parked him anyway. I mean, I think Denny was
That was my question.
I think
I
Denny
was
was
wondering
pretty
what Denny
upset
was
about
gonna
what
do.
happened and upset to the point they took his name off the door.
I was just
I
going to say
noticed
that.
that. Yeah.
And people are like, oh, they should took his name off the door, you know, blah, blah, blah. Look, man, watching at home is one thing. Watching another guy drive your car is one thing. Your name ain't even on the door. Like, that is a huge statement from
The team.
ownership of the team. Yeah, right. So I thought that was a big deal. My struggle is we've been seeing this happen for years. And we see people drive away and race the next lap, you know, race the next week. I mean, I went on a huge rant on this show about how Carson Hocevar races like a and they need to do something to him. He should have been parked earlier in the year. So I don't know if this is a case of, and listen, this is targeting. Right rearing somebody and sending them head on into the fence is our form of targeting. It needs to be written in the rule book that if you do this, you are going to be suspended. But now we've got to be consistent with it. And now we got to draw the line of when is it dangerous and when is it okay? If you do it at the LA Coliseum, I mean, I watched guys pile drive. Who was it you were fighting with at LA? Cindric?
Yeah.
You and Cindric were pile driving each other into the wall. And at what point is it literally not okay to be doing that?
I'm pretty sure you got intentionally wrecked at the
Kyle
Coliseum.
Larson intentionally wrecked Justin Haley at the Coliseum and completely ended our day. And we were running second or third there in the exhibition race. So I think now for me, TJ, the question becomes, are you saying we were wrong to not have already done it? Because if you don't keep doing it, it looks like he's singled out.
I just think it's a product. This has been building up, and I don't know if 5 years ago that's the penalty. Maybe.
It wasn't a penalty 2 years ago when Ben Rhodes did it at Christian Eckes at Texas. It wasn't a penalty then at all.
So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a product of a lot of things. There's other things too, like you said. Not to mention, we've had a lot of talk about walking out onto the racetrack, walked across a hot racetrack. that's also been a no-no as well.
Yeah, but they made it clear in their statement that it was about the on-track incident.
I'm just saying,
I know,
there's a lot of things there's a lot of wrongs
here.
here that add up. And I think the decision's right to park him because I think this will be another big step in Bubba's development and learning. They kind of all have to go through this at some point. I hate, nobody likes to see it, but I think he'll come out of this better, and he's been super competitive the last half of this season. So, and I think this will be another growing step for him down the road. Freddie,
Take us through communication prior to or really during, finding out that there was a penalty that he would be suspended. JH taking...
For my end?
Yes.
Basically, I just got a phone call from the team probably one Tuesday afternoon that they felt like that was the direction it was probably heading in, and that John Hunter was going to drive the car, which we kind of already knew that he's kind of been the backup plan if anything goes wrong for anybody. So for me, from that point on, it was just get with John Hunter, talk to him a little bit about what he needs, what he expects, because obviously it's a big opportunity for him.
I was impressed with him.
Yeah, me too.
I wanted to make sure. Yeah, he did a good job.
Did he give you your glasses?
He did not give me my glasses. I don't know.
Forgot all about
that. He must
that.
have forgot.
Funny how the world turns, isn't it?
Yeah. But from my side of it, really, and then I talked to Bubba a couple times about just personal stuff between me and him.
Yep.
But from my point on, after Tuesday, after they made the announcement, it's just business as usual. Move on to the next week and make sure John Hunter had everything he needed to do to be competitive, which obviously he was. He was fastest in practice. I think he would have had the pole. He got free off a 4 and missed the pole by less than a tenth. So I think he probably would have had the pole. And then listen, these things are hard to drive. Obviously, we've seen that at the beginning of the year, how many guys were spinning out. And you got to remember, this is his first. He tested there, but he only tested, I think, half a day or a day. Then John and then Ty and Bubba got in the car. But, these things are on the edge, and we've seen in testing last year. We've seen early in this year, the guys took a long time to find the edge. And when these things got out of shape, they were hard to bring back. And that was the first time, I guess, this thing kind of caught him off guard. And unfortunately, kind of ended our day. We backed it in the fence, and we just really didn't have the speed after that. But
practice good.
I mean,
that's what I mean.
Top of the board in practice. Like I said, I thought he was going to be on the pole in qualifying. So he's definitely got the speed. He's definitely got it. Everything. He's just got to kind of harness it in a little bit, but he'll be fine.
Did you have any communication with Denny? I'm curious to know.
I did not speak to Denny at all, no.
Did he pull your contract?
He wasn't in your room with chocolates?
He was not in my room.
Did he pull your contract?
When I finally, I don't know, maybe. I don't know. I haven't heard anything yet.
All right. Well, continuing on a similar topic.
But he didn't.
I didn't sign it either. Nobody signed it.
Kaitlyn, this one's for you. Marty Snyder said that NBC Sports tried to get a Zoom interview with Wallace pre-race and he declined. What do you think?
I mean, I'm not surprised. Are any of us surprised that he declined?
I didn't realize this was such breaking news.
Him as a person or in general?
Just in general with the situation. I'm
Yep.
sure he's not ready to really openly talk about that, I would think, just yet. And I don't blame him.
Fair.
So.
Brett?
I'm spot on for him declining. I think that the most awkward moment that I've seen all year was the RCR Kyle Busch announcement. And
my gosh.
I thought that
Yes.
was awkward. Did you think it was awkward?
Yes, I did. It seemed like no one knew what was happening, even that were a part of it.
I mean, I hate to digress, but I was not a fan of the whole watch joke thing. I mean,
Yeah.
Richard Childress beat the shit out of you. Now you think it's funny he's giving you a watch. And then the whole offer
also
breaks in a
giving him
contract
millions.
thing that wasn't really a contract. Anyway,
That's very messy behind the scenes.
I was like, and I do events for a living, and
Yeah.
I was like, wow, I hope I've never done one this bad. But anyway, nothing against those guys. Like Richard's obviously successful, Kyle's successful. They're going to be successful together. But the press conference, it left a lot to be desired for. But I think the most second awkward moment of the year is going to be when Bubba Wallace walks through this garage, and it's going to be, it's all eyes on you, man. Whether you want it to be that way or not, it's every peer is going to be looking at him. Every fan is going to be looking at him.
I know.
He has never been in a fishbowl like he's about to be. And I know he had that thing a few years ago that was very, challenging for him, and he handled it, in my opinion, he handled it well, given the facts that he was presented to by Steve Phelps. And obviously everybody surrounded him and gave him nothing but love inside of the garage. This is the opposite. It's going to be hard to manage this. And I said last week before he was suspended that he's got to make peace with this. I've seen guys completely collapse in situations like this, and it take them a year to get over it.
I mean, at least there's only 2 races left. You know,
That's
so
a good
it's-
thing.
The season is almost over. We can get a big reset once it is, and I'm sure, like you were saying, it's teaching moments, learning from this whole experience. But yeah, I mean, I would say that's going to be.
Look, I don't know who wrote his apology. Maybe it was him, but I didn't see really a lot of, "Hey, I'm sorry, Kyle Larson," in there. I didn't see Kyle Larson's name even in the thing. Maybe I skipped over it.
I think in an interview, Kyle said he wasn't expecting an
He
apology.
did say that, yeah.
So
I'm spot on for him declining this interview, but I'm telling you right now, all eyes on you, man, this weekend. It ain't gonna be easy.
Freddie.
I mean, the only reason this is even public knowledge is for clickbait. I mean, Dustin Albino tweeted 1,000 times yesterday. This one got 94 replies and 38 quote tweets, and every other tweet he had 3 replies. I laugh at people that
You mad?
No, I don't care.
I couldn't tell.
I mean, I laugh at people that complain about, I'm tired of hearing about Bubba Wallace. I'm tired of seeing about Bubba Wallace interviews or stories. Well, you know why they're out there? Because they get 5 million notifications.
Clicks.
You know, like if you would stop replying to every story about Bubba, they will stop posting them. I promise you that. You know, like I just don't, you know, I don't know what, you know, I personally, myself, I was outraged that they didn't interview Rodney Childers or Ben Bishaw while they were suspended. You know, that was my personal feeling. I mean, who cares? Like, what the hell's going on here? Like, just move on. Bubba's going to have to address it this week. Like Brett said, it ain't going to be easy.
Yep.
He's going to get booed louder than he's probably ever been booed before in driver intros this
More
week.
than Denny at his
oh,
home
my
track.
God. They're going to burn the place down this week. But who cares? We're going to go out there and try to shut him up like we did at Kansas. And that's how he does. That's how he fuels himself. That's how he moves forward. And that's what we're going to do. It ain't going to be easy, but we're going to continue to move forward and try to win races. That's all we can do.
I am personally
That's Freddie's "I'm upset" voice.
That's
in
what
case y'all
I.
didn't
That's
know.
why I said, "Are you
That's
mad?"
just smiling. He
It's
moved
annoying.
this.
You
Like,
can-
it's really, it's really not. I'm not mad. I want
Doesn't
to
sound
laugh
like
at
it at
people.
all. I mean-
want to laugh at people just because of the fact that they complain all the time about how much they see Bubba stuff. But they reply to everything. I hate this guy. Well, thanks for replying. You just drove our metrics higher. Like I do it all the time on my Twitter or even the Couch Racer Twitter. Like if we mention Bubba Wallace, whoop, through the roof. Here we go. Like
Who's got a Snickers? I mean, Freddie needs a Snickers right now.
I need a shot. Once we get to reaction here, I'm gonna do this shot.
I'm kind of the opposite of Brett. I'm kind of spot off. Maybe this was an opportunity to come on there and say, "Hey, I made a mistake. You know, I'd like to. You know, I'm sorry for what I did." Kind of own it a little bit and put an apology out there, like a true, like, I never should have done that. I was in the wrong. Set the tone. I mean,
Start the process for
Yeah,
moving
and-
forward.
Y'all are
Here-
crazy.
here's the
You're
thing. Just
crazy.
saying.
He's crazy. Now you're gonna have to do it again.
You're talking about awkward moments, right? You talk
Yeah.
about awkward moments.
Yeah.
One of the most awkward things I remember watching was that Kyle Larson Zoom apology for when he had to do his apology.
That was on our show.
That was
I'll never forget that day.
pretty awkward in itself. So I don't think you want to do a Zoom apology. You want to do
mean-
it this week in front of the media, in front of TV
One time.
cameras, one time. Be done with it.
It's time for you to sell your home and make that big move. Let our friends at OfferPad remove all the worry and hassle. Get started today at OfferPad.com.